Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. Today, we got a bunch of news stories to get into. It's been a while since we did a little kind of news update. And heading into WrestleMania, there's always tons of stuff going on. So today, I figured I'd pop up a couple videos. I was just about to hit record on the 2021 DVD collection, and some pretty serious news just broke regarding Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, Chico, the bad guy. Um, Last week had hip surgery, and according to PW Torch, Scott Hall is, currently in the hospital after suffering 3 heart attacks last night. PW Torch learned that he had hip surgery last week, but suffered serious complications uh, from a blood clot getting loose. This is a scary situation here, and who knows the extent of what the surgery was. Um, I heard about that last week, the hip surgery and that, and I thought I was actually quite excited to hear Scott Hall was doing well and whatnot, but apparently not. I'm a bit shaken up by this news, man. Blood clots and things like that are pretty serious. Um, and he suffered 3 heart attacks overnight. Send your thoughts and prayers to the big guy Scott Hall, the bad guy Scott Hall. Um, Man, 3 heart attacks in a night. Uh, um, Regardless of the vaccination status and all that crap that's going on in the world, that's pretty serious stuff here. Usually 1 heart attack is enough. So, uh, keep your ears glued to the YouTubes and the Twitters and things like that, and hopefully we'll get some sort of update regarding Razor Ramon. Scott Hall has always been one of my all-time favorites. I wasn't really watching at the time of his Razor Ramon initial run there in the mid '90s, but towards the late '90s, once he was in WCW and with the NWO, that's when I really started to watch wrestling and things like that. So I always loved Scott Hall, and later on I loved all his Razor Ramon stuff. I had a lot of fun watching all the Razor Ramon vignettes and things like that. And he's had his ups and downs, and over the past, it's almost been a decade, believe it or not, since he's been sober and clean, and all that stuff with DDP happened. It's getting close to 10 years that that happened. I believe it was 2013. Maybe it has been 10 years. Because he went into the Hall of Fame in 2014. So that's already been 8 years since he's been in the Hall of Fame, and you know, I think it was 2012 was what, Sean going into the Hall of Fame, or maybe 2011, right? And he wasn't there for that, but it's send your thoughts and prayers, like I've said. hopefully the bad guy can pull through some of this. Let's get into some positive notes, guys. Like I said, I was in the middle of about to hit record. Let's talk about some WrestleMania news and upcoming events. The WWE Hall of Fame has already announced two legendary superstars, and there's been a big debate over whether The Undertaker should have been the sole inductee of the 2022 class. I'm definitely not against that idea. I'll tell you that for free. And man, what a legendary career the Undertaker has had. I'm just kind of still shaken up by this Scott Hall story. Man, this is man, it's just awful news to kind of wake up to and start your day with. Um, but the Undertaker, kind of said his farewells there a couple of years ago at 2020 Survivor Series. Um, I guess his last official match will be the last ride match. If uh, if he does choose to eventually have one more match, I'm not against it. Let's just say that. Taker, he's earned his stripes. His hard-fought battles throughout the years. He's battled through injuries, all kinds of different stuff. And Taker's, he's one of the all-time greats, all-time legends. He's not very many people will speak a bad word about him. And as always, give us a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. Um, yeah, I think the soul induction thing would have been a hell of an idea, and but honestly, Taker's the kind of guy that he wouldn't want to be the only inductee. So I think we're kind of way past that idea by now because I don't know. It's just it really seems like the Hall of Fame has just kind of lost something the past couple of years, and you know, few people have mentioned it. Ever since the COVID era and whatnot, the stuff with Bret Hart and things like this. The Hall of Fame just hasn't felt that special. It seems like they're going to kind of put it together with a SmackDown this year, which just it kind of just takes away from it. Maybe it is time to make the Hall of Fame a part of another pay-per-view. There's so much going on with WrestleMania weekend, with takeovers and Raw, SmackDown. WrestleMania is 2 nights now, which takes up a big chunk of the time here. So maybe it is time to kind of move the Hall of Fame to another night because the last few Hall of Fames have been, not up to my standards. It usually is one of my favorite nights of the year. I love the original Hall of Fames with Bobby Heenan and Harley Race and the 2004s, the 2005s, 6, 7s. Um, those initial induction ceremonies were so awesome. They were in like little banquet halls, and they were a tight close group of people. I don't think they allowed many fans in there, but the following year when Ric Flair got his induction, that's when they moved into the big stadium, and I think it definitely should have went back to that banquet hall type at some point. And yeah, the past couple of years have not been good. So, it seems like it was rushed that one year where they had Harlem Heat, DX, the Hart Foundation, and a few others. Um, and then last year and the year before were just kind of mixed together because of the pandemic and whatnot. So um, hopefully this year they can kind of, salvage some of this Hall of Fame ceremony. And, with The Undertaker, I'm expecting, a top-notch ceremony. And also, Vader has been announced. Sadly, Vader passed away in 2018. So we're going about 4 years now since he passed away. And, Vader's one wish was to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He even told them he had about 2 years to live. Sadly, I don't think he made it to that 2 years before sadly passing away. But big old Leon Vader is always going to be one of those all-time great legends. I think he said he was about a 20-time world champion from an interview he did with Bill Apter. So he's been around. Vader has definitely made his rounds from Mexico to Japan to WCW, WWE, a legendary Hall of Fame worthy career. So rest in peace to Big Van Vader. A classic villain. If you ever get a chance, check out his work. If you're not familiar, a newer fan, check out some of Vader's stuff. He had really good matches. I know his stuff from Japan isn't as much known, to the fans of North America, but check out his stuff if you can. There's all kinds of matches on YouTube and things like that. So give a check out to Vader. And I believe today also marks an anniversary of the death of Andrew Martin, formerly known as Test, also known as Test. Um, Test passed away 13 years ago in 2009. So it's some rough news today mixed in with some good stuff. Yeah, Test came into the WWE with a, you know, pretty big load on his shoulders. This guy was massive. I believe he was a security for Motley Crue, something like that. And I'm not sure who spotted him, but he was probably at a show one day. They seen this big, massive guy, and he started training. I believe he was in the same class with guys like Shamrock, Edge, Christian, Draws, and I think probably Albert. So he was in there with some Hall of Famers. I'd definitely like to see Draws and Test in the Hall of Fame one day. I always said the Warrior Award should go to a guy like Draws, and Test would probably be worthy of that award as well, or their own Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Um, yeah, former WWE Tag Team Champion, ICUS Hardcore Champion. Uh, Sadly, I think he broke his neck in 2004 or 5, and probably was addicted to the painkillers and things like this, and it just definitely affected his life after that. So, if you're ever out there, watch some matches of Test. Great matches with Shane McMahon and a lot of others. He had some good stuff going on. The Invasion with Edge and the stuff with the Young Americans. He had a great match with Undertaker at SummerSlam one year. But after 2004, he started to put on a lot of size. Probably was taking the steroids and things like this to enhance his body after the neck surgery. And I always thought he could have been a world champion, and things like that. Some guys just never really got the push or an opportunity like so many others have. Also, I do want to quickly mention that the Royal Rumble 2022 DVD will not be released in Canada until March 22nd. So we do have another week or so to wait. So I was kind of bummed out. I did go to Walmart and a couple other places to look. But yeah, not this Tuesday, but the following week we will have the Royal Rumble DVD set. So we will be able to give that a review for you guys. And finally, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. It is official. Whether it's for a match or just an interview with Kevin Owens, it has been officially announced this past Monday, Tuesday. Kevin Owens challenged Austin to make an appearance on the Kevin Owens show. Then following day, Austin responded, and he will be there. So what I was originally thinking here was that um, whether Austin appeared before WrestleMania or not was kind of out of the question. But at WrestleMania, I guess he wouldn't appear until WrestleMania, but Owens was just in the ring talking all the smack he could in the ring until finally that glass just breaks, blows the roof off of that building, and Austin arrives, cuts his infamous promos that he's never, backed down or, never ran from anything or anybody. And we get an all-time classic Steve Austin promo. And then kind of like what The Rock did at 32, same building as well. So, and then just kind of an impromptu match where Austin challenges Owens, and they kind of brawl it out, duke it out. We get the Steve Austin special with the Thez press, the mud stomps, and the middle fingers and the stunners, and big old beer bash to sail off into the sunset. And man, it gets you kind of hyped talking about all that stuff. And I'm really excited to see Steve in Dallas. And I think whether this is the right time or the wrong time, or if it's going to be an official match or not, it is totally up in the air. So um, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun time. So let me know your thoughts on everything. Send your prayers to Scott Hall. Let me know some of your favorite Undertaker matches, Vader, if you have any memories of Test. And what are you expecting at a Stone Cold Steve Austin? If you're ready for WrestleMania, comment down below. As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.